speaking. So you're just saying it's time for me up to the species spotlight? I see. It's all about koalas? I understand. So you're telling me there was no point to this whole opening gag other than the fact that koalas sleep a lot too? Let's get started, shall we?
Hello all, welcome back to Zoological Point. My name is Kyle and today we'll be taking a closer look at the arboreal marsupial of Eastern Australia, the koala. Now, first things first, what on earth is a koala? I don't know. Relax, I'm kidding. Everybody loves koalas, me included. Heck, there's even one on my favorite coffee mug. They're extremely fascinating mammals. Now let's just figure out what they're hiding. Well, in their pouch, because they have a pouch. Since they do have a pouch, this confirms their status as a member of the marsupial infraorder. They are not bears. Why not, you may ask? Well, please examine the list of reasons listed here. This was not set up for the qualifications joke because I hate that pun with every fiber of my being. Anyway, their closest cousins are the wombats, which are my personal favorite animal of all time. Like their quote-unquote superior cousins, they're herbivorous, essentially nature's vegans. However, unlike vegans, their diet consists almost exclusively on eucalyptus leaves, which are one of the main reasons these guys are so lethargic because eucalyptus leaves are toxic and extremely low in nutrition. It's probably not the best idea for an entire species to base their diet on this food. But koalas have decided to do so. More power to them, I guess. This is also the same reason people say they smell like cough drops. Since they spend the majority of their days eating food that is extremely low in energy, they sleep. A lot. In fact, koalas are among the world's laziest animals, no offense to them, usually sleeping up to 20 hours a day. Something that not a lot of people realize about koalas is that they're rather territorial, well, particularly the males are. Occasionally they'll fight one another, which is kind of funny, but it's really serious to them because they have their own set territories. To intimidate potential intruders, koalas will bellow from the bottom of their lungs, creating possibly the funniest sound I've ever heard on the planet. Listen to this. Pretty impressive, right? Well, you wouldn't be one of the first to think that, as males also use these same bellows to attract females. Quite the romantics, aren't they? This is something that's been fascinating me ever since I was a child, and I've attempted my best to master this call. I can confirm that it does deter intruders, but it does not attract mates. And I can assure you 100% it is not from lack of trying. So now we just talked about how koalas get mates, let's talk about how they raise their young, because once again we're going to skip over the explicit parts of animal reproduction, including the part where we talk about the rates of STDs in koalas. So let's talk about babies. As previously mentioned, koalas have pouches, which serve a critical role in the upbringing of joeys. After they're born, baby koalas have to crawl to get to the pouch and start nursing, which sounds pretty easy, right? Well, I forgot to mention that at this stage in their life, they're roughly about the size of a jelly bean and almost entirely blind. Now that makes things a wee bit hard now, doesn't it? It also doesn't really help the fact that koalas have one of the lowest milk production rates of the entire mammalian class. It's almost as if evolution tried to make them extinct a long time ago, but they were too lazy to receive the message. Well, given that they are able to make it and they eventually grow up, once they become too big for the pouch, Mama Koala will ferry them around on her back, making for the world's cutest piggyback ride. Now, unfortunately, their popularity and cuteness is enough to protect them. Despite not being endangered, they still face a significant amount of threats. In addition to natural predators like eagles, dingoes, and pythons, humans are a big danger to these lovable critters. Both bushfires and injuries from cars are just two of the biggest impacts that koalas have had to deal with, more and more as they continue to lose their habitat. Other threats include various parasitic tapeworms, mites, and a staggering amount of sexually transmitted diseases and infections. Now, earlier I jokingly mentioned koala STDs, but they're no laughing matter. In koalas, chlamydia can lead to infections and complete failure of both the urinary and reproductive system, which overall affects the entire population of the species if a majority of its members are unable to reproduce. But there is hope. Amazing zoos in Australia, as well as around the world, are working hard to save the koalas, as well as rescue and treat individuals. One of the zoos that is currently leading the charge in koala conservation is the world-famous Australia Zoo, home of the legendary Steve Irwin, RIP. Their wildlife hospital has an entire ward dedicated to treat chlamydia-ridden critters, which may or may not be named after one of my favorite comedians. There is hope for the koala, and as long as we continue to love and conserve them, they will be around for generations to come. Now, to avoid ending on a depressing note, here are some of my personal favorite facts about the koala. Now, the first published image of a koala came from naturalist George Perry in 1810, and since explorers at the time had no idea what they were talking about, he called it a New Holland sloth. I mean, he's not too far off. At least he didn't call them bears. One of their most important adaptations is the fact that they have 2 thumbs, which is very useful when they're climbing around up in the treetops. Now, while we're on the topic of fingers, did you know that koalas have their own unique fingerprints? This makes solving crimes on Paw and Order Special Mammals Unit very easy. Finally, the Latin name for the koala, which is Phascolarctos cinereus, I'm sure I mispronounced that, but it almost directly translates to ash-gray colored bear with a pocket. Once again, they are not bears. Well, thank you so much for watching. My name is Kyle, and I'm going to try the koala style diet and eat nothing but spinach for the next few weeks. I'll see you all next time.